There is one task in No Man's Sky that you can do just after starting that will make you rich in units, nanites, tech plans, and building plans. It'll even give you chances to get easy S-Class ships very early on. I'm talking about scrapping ships. And not just scrapping ships, but taking advantage of every facet of it, because you can really refine how you do it and what you get from it. There are two primary ways to find crash ships to claim and scrap. The first is to use an Exocraft's radar to scan for them. This requires about the same time to prepare, but will be slightly more inconvenient while actually gathering ships, though it will only add a few extra seconds to each ship, lowering your amount per hour by 1 or 2. Exocrafts have their other charms too, so it's not at all a waste to prepare them as an option. The second method is using distress signal planetary charts. It is the quickest method to use. The only real negative is that it costs units to fund. But we're talking 1.5k units per ship at most, which is inconsequential. For both methods, you'll want a whole bunch of launch fuel or uranium. Uranium is a more efficient fuel for lifting off. You may also wish to obtain the plans for the launch autocharger Starship technology and install it for extra efficiency over your whole save play time. It's a great bit of tech. Lastly, you'll want an economy scanner for both methods. It's a great piece of technology also that we'll be using to find the perfect system for you to hunt in, as well as helping in the chart prep. Out of the Exocrafts, 2 of them can be used to scan for crash ship sites: the Minotaur and the Nautilus. The Nautilus scans specifically for underwater crash ships, so we'll be focusing on the Minotaur here, as most new players would need to sort out extra technology to survive swimming in the depths. You don't need to get too much for this. You'll need to buy the Minotaur Geobay, which if you haven't already got it will require the Roma Geobay. You'll also need the Minotaur Radar Array technology and either the Exocraft Summoning Station, or if you have a freighter, the Orbital Exocraft Materializer Room. To buy all of these blueprints you only need 22 to 27 salvage data. You can save 4 by doing the base missions to receive the Roma plan for free, and not using the freighter room will save you 1. But getting 27 instead of 22 is only an extra minute or so digging up buried technology on a planet. You'll want to build the Minotaur Geobay at one of your bases. You need one to exist somewhere to be able to summon the Minotaur using a summoner or materializer room. Install the Minotaur Radar Array. Then either build the Exocraft Summoning Station, then pick it back up, or build the materializer room in your freighter. Building the summoner station anywhere on the planet will make it possible to summon any of your Exocrafts on any planet in that system. So we'll keep it in the inventory for now. The Orbital Materializer has the same effect, except you just have to summon your freighter to that system. So it's a more convenient though more advanced option. When you get to the system to hunt in, find the nicest planet and claim a base computer, then just build the Exocraft Summoning Station. You can then summon the Minotaur, jump in and scan for a crash site. Fly over to it, claim the ship and the other stuff, summon the Minotaur again and repeat. For this method you may wish to count these ships as you gather them to save any grief. You have 12 ship slots total, so you can gather 12 minus however many ships you already have. You don't want to accidentally trade your main ship, though even if you do, you shouldn't have a problem trading it back, and reloading a restore point is also an option. Finding the perfect planet is more about finding the perfect system. Part of this depends on what type of ship you want. If you want the most units and nanites possible, then you should pick a GEC pirate system. Due to the increased chance of S-Class ships in a pirate system compared to other economy strengths, and how solar ships give the most modules when scrapped, your nanite gain will be much higher on average. The GEC as the race will give a slightly higher overall value due to haulers having more slots. However, if you are looking for a really nice ship to keep, you'll want to pick GEC for haulers, Viking for fighters, and Korvax for explorers, with either a pirate economy if you just want S-Class, or 3-star economy if you want the best possible S-Class. If after the best possible solar ship, then stick with either GEC for unit gain and Viking for nanite gain, and a 3-star economy. You'll see less solar than in a pirate economy, but the S-classes at spawn, while fewer, will, as with others, be on the more powerful of their potential. For the distress signal planetary chart method, you'll just be clicking charts to get a crash ship location. So the preparation is about gaining access to a large quantity of cheap charts. We'll do this by finding a location that sells bulk amounts of navigation data, which is super cheap at just over 1,000 units each. Build a base there so we always have access, and then trade them for the charts 1-to-1. If you chose a pirate system, then note it and head to a 3-star economy system to get your navigation data base. This is due to the trading posts having larger stocks in 3-star economies. Once ready, use your economy scanner via the quick menu to scan for a trading post. If there's a particularly nice planet in the system, fly to just above the ground on it first to ensure you get the trading post on that planet. Fly to the trading post and check its stock. If it doesn't sell navigation data at the trade terminal, then scan again and fly to another, repeating until you find one that does. With one found, build a base computer, claim it and build a teleporter and power source. Naming the base something appropriate will give you an extremely convenient source of navigation data throughout your entire playthrough. You can now teleport to the space station of the system you are hunting in and buy your charts. You will want 16 minus however many ships you have. With your charts in hand, head to the nicest planet in the system. This isn't required, but hunting on a paradise planet is usually preferable to a toxic hellscape. Just above the ground, use the charts until you have 5 waypoints. These will be Observatory, Abandoned Building, Crashed Freighter, and 2 Distress Beacons. Sometimes the maps will require quite a few attempts before it scans to give you the last one. With all of the waypoints up, fly to one of the Distress Beacons, but don't land right away. Hover around the crash site and look for an NPC walking around. If you see one, fly up a bit, point back down to the Distress Beacon waypoint and focus it so it glows blue. If there is no NPC, point toward the other Distress Beacon and focus that one. This blue glow marker waypoint will be the one not to go to, as the one we will use will disappear each time. This is more helpful. For this method, after doing your thing, just get back into your original ship and use another planetary chart to find the new Distress Beacon marker, avoiding the one that's glowing blue. When you run out of charts and non-glowing Distress Beacon waypoints, your ship slots are full. Also note that when doing a second round or more of crash ship hunting with charts, if you have the other 4 waypoints in the system you're doing it in, you'll only need 12 minus your ship count more charts to do another run. When it comes to the crash sites, they are a compact treasure trove of goodies. First off is of course the crash ship itself. Provided there's no NPC walking around, you can just interact with it and claim it. If you want to be legit, though I always forget in my haste, you can prepare resources to fix the pulse engine and launch thrusters. You'll need a metal plating, dihydrogen jelly, hermetic seal, and 50 pure ferrite for each ship. If you don't fix them, you can exploit a feature to fix them for free. Just pop to the anomaly when you have a full roster before going to the station, and in the anomaly switch to each of the new ships. This will automatically fix the pulse engine and launch thrusters. It's supposed to be for ensuring you aren't stranded, but well, it exists, so do what you want. The ship is of course not all. Next is the Distress Beacon itself. Interacting with this, especially for a new save, is extremely worthwhile, and from almost every one you can get a technology blueprint. The beacon will generally give you 2 options to choose from. One will give physical items and the other usually a technology blueprint. You'll want to pick the option for reporting the crash or searching the pilot's corpse or looking for technology if you want the blueprints. Options like databanks and cargo holds etc. will give you items. Some others may even give you a multi-tool or such. Next is the damaged machinery, a common find on pretty much every planet. These are also pretty great. They'll usually give you 30 or so nanites, but sometimes they'll give you a launch fuel and others A or S class upgrades you can use or sell for nanites. Not only that, but every damaged machinery marks a buried technology, right by it, so be sure to dig that up for 2 or more salvage technology to get your construction plans. You need hundreds of these to get every building part from the anomaly's construction terminal, so getting a few with every site will really build up. Lastly, there are the crates and red barrel. Green crates can give some very useful resources like dihydrogen jelly and Viking daggers. Red barrels can drop antimatter, housing, and even warp cells. While you need an Atlas Pass V1 to open the barrels, the Atlas Passes are one of the technology blueprints that can drop from Distress Beacons. The scrapping of the ship itself doesn't need its own section. Just head to the station, switch to the ship to scrap via the quick menu, and use the terminal to the left of the shipbuilder to scrap the ship. Be sure to choose the option offering money and not a ship part unless you want the ship part of course. It's either or, you can't have both. It's also a good idea to check in the inventory screen first that you definitely aren't about to scrap your main ship. Then just buy more charts or teleport to your summoner base and go for another round. If you are super early in the game and don't have stocks or various resources, you could see what technology the crash ships have in them to dismantle before scrapping. Just be sure to move the resources they give to your exosuit. Some missions in the game will ask you to find and scrap a ship, but what the complete really needs is just the scrap resulting from scrapping. So keeping a few stacks of the vendor trash gained from scrapping ships in your freighter storage, armed with a matter beam or elsewhere at hand, can be very convenient. The great thing about the chart method over the Exocraft is that you can limit the amount of charts you buy for each round of collecting the ships to scrap. This is good as it's too easy to accidentally switch your current ship without realising you had no empty ship slots left. This isn't a big deal as you can just get your old ship back, but you'll then have wasted time going to an extra crash site, and will have to put a beacon down and come back if you want the crash ship. It's just a bit of a faff. If you have any tips or suggestions I didn't note in this video, please do mention below. Many people, especially new players, tend to peruse the comments, as there's always someone with an extra genius tip. Here are a few other helpful guides. Have a great day.